process has begun. I wanted to, because of curiosity of what people had said, take a closer inspection of stuff. So I've already taken the neck off, and I'm going to use a set. I think the last set that Blackjack sent me of the bullets, silver bullets, when I put it all back together. They'll still leave me the packs that Eric was nice enough to send me. So here's the interesting thing. I know they started making the Made in Mexicos around the 93 kind of time frame, and I understand that it's a combination of American parts and so forth. So as you see here, here's the neck with the tuners still on. I am going to be again probably giving it a little TLC. Also at the time I never noticed it, but as we go down here, this is a beautiful rosewood until, as you notice here, the nice little crack that's formed since giving its age. It is a legitimate sticker. No, that is not a crack. That is unfortunately a hair. Pardon that. So that is a legitimate serial number. Maybe from wear and tear this has occurred, but again, it's hardly noticeable. That's not a big issue. Also, looking over the frets here a little bit more as the Motorola focuses, there's definitely some fret wear. Oddly enough, up near the top of the neck, not so much as you go down the neck. Neck does look straight. Does seem to be a discoloration or some type of crap going on. Somebody freaking used a marker or something on the damn thing. But I can confirm, as on my previous Made in Mexico, that is a legitimate Made in Mexico mark, because I had that on the Squire Series 95 that I had. Again, whatever this little, you can see here as I turn the camera, I've already kind of pre-sanded, and that's already almost nice and flat. You almost don't even notice it. And again, the weird kind of checking divot stuff like this too, that will also be gone, which it'll make the neck a little bit thinner, but that's fine to me as long as it keeps its profile. And I'll be keeping the tuners as well for now. Now, getting back onto the body is legitimate weight, legitimate shape, legitimate color, but as of interest, of course, when taking off the neck, I remember what my 95 Made in Mexico had. Actually, it might have been a while now. I actually could have forgot, but as you can clearly see here, that actually is a stamping for Squire. So the stamping and the inkings all seem to indicate that yes, this is a Squire body. So this is probably maybe an early Squire body. Now you can kind of see what I'm talking about, what somehow somebody friggin' I guess maybe they had it on a telly or something, this pick guard, but it's all freaking rough and shit. Again, probably gonna do away with that. So now we will see the inside, to which I can definitely say for sure it is a made in Mexico. Odd metal plates on the bottom of these pickups. I don't know why. That's strange. I don't know if it's, again, a different type of pickup or whatnot, but everything goes in line with Squier Standard Series. Of note of interest down here is the interesting cap here. That's a really strange cap. But again, all the volume and tone pots, all the switchers, and one of the other things I noticed too when I pulled it off, and I was saying to myself, oh, there's the ground wire. Guess what? It's not connected. So, obviously while I have this apart, this is going to be getting a clean up. And I definitely will be reattaching the ground because obviously it must have been right there. And it must have came off over the years, whatever. But you can tell that this definitely hasn't, like, I don't think it's really been dicked around with much. I mean, if it is, I mean, really crappy stuff that the person did. So yeah, beyond that, there's an update on the 9495 made in Mexico Stratocaster, the silver label standard series that it became. And that should answer some folks' questions. Catch you later. And here's another little bit more video on the I'm assuming it's a 94 made in Mexico Fender Stratocaster. I've stripped the body down to give it a cleaning and prep, and you can see how grody and nasty it is. Like I said, going exactly by the structure of inside the body, and that everything seems to be going exactly that it is a made in Mexico body. It has all the physical traits of a Strat body. That isn't drilled through, like usually a lot of the copy bodies are. Again, another telltale sign for these is that little bit of a glossy look there. And by the way, somebody was mentioning whether it was blackjack or whatnot. Actually, there's the different screw holes there, because I think somebody put a different pick guard on in general. So again, I do not want to touch the body in refinishing it per se to something else different. Probably just clean it up. Now, getting back to the point of the actual hardware, that I've now taken off. The neck plate is an official made in Mexico one, because again, I got another one sitting over there with my mess of parts. So there's that. The jacks are the strap jacks are also consistent with the made in Mexico. Again, I suspect that this is a 94 because of the given sake that everything is cut out properly, and the neck, even though it doesn't have the little dot here, it still has the stamp up here reading Squire. Now, someone obviously came in here and messed around with the tremolo, because if we take a look at the screws, or sorry, not the screws, the springs, somehow there is a copper or gold one that was part of the three attached, which again isn't a big issue because I have again in the pile O parts, my messiness, I've got the parts for it, same as another tremolo. Bad soldering job on the ground. Now, of interesting note, I discovered that I probably would have to upgrade the tremolo. Here's another interesting thing. 2 outside screws long, 4 middle screws short. Now, I don't understand the thinking behind this. If somebody can give me a thought on so, that would be grateful. Again, the tremolo does seem to fall within specs for the 94/95 premium. It does have the saddles. Ultimately, though, I am going to have to replace it because you can clearly see how messed up that is. And I think some of these are rusted inside. So that, plus the fact it's the shitty block, another good reason why it should be replaced. Other than that, though, the bridge would be good. Now, here's the interesting thing. Somebody obviously screwed around with this pickguard to make it that it fit. It looked like a Telecaster. Yeah. So I don't know much about that. The pickups are beveled. Like I said, this is nice and solid, actually, despite it being a knockoff jack. But again, as we take a look closer, this again does fall in line with the pots. This does fall in line with the pots for the 95 made, what was on my 95 made in Mexico, and the China upgrades. You can tell that it's not a it's not a junky 5-way switch, but it's not a super great one either. This is also the interesting thing here as well. This capacitor here is interesting because it's actually a .18 It's almost like clear on the tip of it. Apparently it's alpha pots, but they're pretty small ass alpha pots. Here's the last interesting thing with this in regards to this. Check out these pickups. They've got like a, I don't know if they're ceramic at all or if they're Alnico, but I've never seen pickups with, say, like this weird ass metal plate on the bottom. And they're fairly heavy. So anyways, that's a little further update on things. Again, this definitely will be, looks like it will be a project guitar again, especially with all this stuff actually needing to be updated or replaced. Catch you later, folks. What would you do if you won the Hey folks, so yes, as you can see in the edge of the video here, I kinda went a little overboard, but here's the inherent problem when you're refinishing stuff. You get another form of GAS, except in this case it's actually called grain acquisition syndrome. So here's originally what the neck looked like. Because I've kept, again, attempting to keep the integrity. And this is what the neck looks like, sanded back. There's still some of the two little marks are still here in the neck. But yeah, when I talk about grain acquisition syndrome, this is just one coat of wipe on poly that I've done, and yeah, I've kind of done the faded thing again. So there's a little bit of an update on the neck. Again, you don't happen to see this crack, which is weird. And the other thing that makes me wonder is if the fretboard was that dried, because it wasn't showing up initially. But again, it isn't affecting the playing surface, so it's not a big concern. Anyways, there's one coat in, and another one's going to be applied here shortly. Catch us later.